Hi, and welcome to Projects and Things. My name's Yves. Behind me, you see my garden house. And behind that garden house, we're going to make a sauna. I figured out about a year ago that the entire bottom of this old garden house was rotten and the whole thing was sinking into the ground. So we raised up the good part of the garden house, put a new structure on the bottom, and then added new flooring. And since there was space left in the back of the property, I figured I'll just extend it and build something there. And bing, the idea came to make a sauna.
So before I had a YouTube channel, I actually made most of this construction. So the basic box was built somewhere end of last year. After that was done, I cut out 2 door holes, one to enter the sauna and one to go to what also will be the showering area in the future. Hi, here's future Yves in the edit to explain some things that I completely forgot when we were building this process. This video will detail the cladding of the inside of the sauna, hanging the doors, and basically the beautiful part.
The buildup of these walls is fairly straightforward. It's a big wooden box of 2 by 2 by 2 meters, made from some leftover wood from my house building. Then it's insulated with 6 centimeters of rock wool for insulation, obviously, and fireproofing. And then there's a vapor barrier on the outside so that with all the steam and water that's generated in here and sweat, the insulation doesn't get wet because then it doesn't do anything anymore. And then the actual cladding is this beautiful wood. I forgot what the name is, but it's beautiful. And it's simply attached with these metal brackets.
Since there was a lot of cladding to go through, my neighbor was so nice to help me with part of this project. We cut the boards to size and then attached them with these metal brackets, leaving a tiny gap at the side so that it could expand and contract with the heat without touching the other panels.
Same thing goes for the roof. The same thing goes for the roof. And then the same thing goes for the ceiling.
The trickiest part for each side is actually getting the first board in place correctly, then all the other ones slide into place. It takes some Fingerspitzengefühl, and if that doesn't work, you just hit it with a hammer.
And then we get to the ventilation system. In order for a sauna to work properly, you need to have air inflow at the bottom, in this case for the fire, and also an air outflow at the top, because that way the air can travel around and warm up the room as uniformly as possible. So I cut a hole through the back wall, inserted an old drain pipe that I still had left lying around, and put this black gauze over there to keep all the bugs from coming in. And then at the back side of this building, I had to cut through the actual sheet metal to open up the passageway all the way through, and that looked like this.
Sauna doors usually come in a package that's already pre-hung within a door frame. It's quite simple to install it. All I had to do was modify the wall a tiny bit to be able to add the lock. And then later I realized I made the door opening way too wide. So what we did was rebuild a small piece of the wall so that the door would fit nicely in between the frame. Then it was time to clear the workbench to build the air intake. My plan here was to make a small box which the door sits on. In that box I cut a hole for the airflow to go in. This air would then feed both the fire and make the convection possible to heat up the sauna uniformly. Before closing the box, I also added a piece of gauze here so that air can go in, but not the spiders that live in my garden house. And then again, with the help of my neighbor, I put the box in place, set the door on top of it, and attached it in its opening.
Voila. So as you can see, there's still a lot left to do, but we're gonna end the video here. This is where part 1 is going to end because there's a lot of things that still need to be done, and we're gonna show that in the second installment, where we're gonna install the heating, the stove, the benches, and just the final touches to this thing. If you like these things I do, then please consider subscribing by pushing the button below, and I have a bunch of other videos that you can see on my channel all about making things. So until next time, bye.